Hi everyone, hope you're well. I was just really following up a few events that happened last week just to give some clarity in my thoughts and hopefully some assistance. I interestingly had a verifier contact me and was producing some pictures of failed seams. Now if you look closely, it's a bonded membrane product and the seams were problematic. The verifier, and I think you can see in there that they're using a pick probe to do their inspections. We're finding lots of flaws. Now the technician in this instance was actually burning the fleece off the membrane to create a self edge to work on. Now I did some videos about a year ago with our friends at JUTA to explain the complexities of working with this. So some of you might be saying, well, first of all, why is the verifier, asking you, why can't they make that decision? Well, as stated in 735, a verifier, if they feel they can't make the decision, should seek technical guidance and assistance. So the verifier's done this in this instance. But likewise, on the flip side with the installers, when the verifier said they had an MVQ, which is all good. So the basic principles, yes, they know how to weld, they know the principles of hand welding, machine welding and taping. But in this particular instance, it's a fairly new product to them. So we can't expect learners to understand every new product that comes on because we don't MVQ and assess on every product that's on the market. So I think our message here is for employers to kind of upskill and educate as products come along. We tell them about them, we spend time and train them. So bear this in mind when you are dealing with a product that possibly your technicians haven't dealt with for the first time. So join me as I try and explain some of those scenarios in these next few video clips. And do not remove the bonded coating. So using a 2 meter single-edged sheet or the shorter double-edged sheet. So the margin is there for our intended joint. If you find that the joint locations are both going to have the bonded coating, do not remove as being demonstrated here. This will not provide a clean enough surface for us to activate heat fusing. Initial pick tests might lead to a false sense of security. On a peel or a shear test, we can see how the product has taken the adhesive away from the sheet. We're going to look at GP Titan Bond pre-applied fully bonded membrane. This presentation covers the joining of the main sheets and seams. So using a full 2 meter Titan Bond roll, the Titan overtape, we're first going to look at heat fusing the seams. With all membranes, ensure the surface is prepared and clean. Here we can see the self edge of the sheet allows us to give the margin of overlap and joint to allow us to use the heat gun to fuse the membranes together. Once the heat fusing is complete, we can now apply the Titan overtape, being sure that any verification and inspection is conducted before this tape is applied. Machine fusing is an alternative, normally used in large areas. Again, preparation of the sheet is essential with the predetermined settings, so we have the temperature, the pressure and the speed. So aligning the sheet using the appropriate pressure, temperature and speed, we can now position ensure everything's ready to go. And here we can see the machine activating the seam. This does provide a test channel in the centre between the two seams for inspection by a verification engineer. Again, once the seam has been inspected, in this instance I'm picking and probe testing, we can then apply the overtapes. Using Titan Flex 300 wide strips, if we do not have a self edge to work from, we can implement a 300 strip to form this self edge. This is being demonstrated here with the bonded face joining each other. If the self edge is available, then we can continue to fuse as previously demonstrated by hand fusing or machine welding. But be mindful of any laps or capillaries that could be left behind on previous joints, so be sure to remove these prior to doing any seaming. In this instance, I'm using the heat gun to activate the seam. Testing of the seam is essential. Now we will apply the overtape. Using Titan Tank, we can alternatively apply a self-adhesive product in the reverse formation to form this edge. Here I'm removing the backing from the product, locating the sheet without the self edge to allow the joining sheet to link onto the self-adhesive. Using a 100mm wide butyl, we can use the self edge and locate the 100mm butyl in the margin provided. Again, cleaning is essential prior to applying any tape. This will be located within the margin, and the use of a pressure roller to ensure no air pockets or voids. The adjoining sheet is then located to the seam. For longer seams, it is advisable to start in the centre of the seam and work your way outwards rather than starting at one end. This will avoid any creases or folds developing as you work your way along the material. So here the centre piece has been removed. The initial locating of the sheet can take place, and then we can work along the sheet. Once checks have been completed of the seam, we can then apply the overtapes. Yeah, that's a shear on it. They never go. And then do a peel on it there. So, you can see the back bleed on it as well.
You're stronger than me, aren't you?
Roll end seams will become a common issue where there is no self edge. So using similar methods as previously demonstrated, either using Titan Tank, self-adhesive, as we can see here. Be mindful to remove any tapes that would be on the roll end of packaging, as can be seen here. And clean the product. Monitor the location of the self-edge to the left and to the right of the roll to ensure they keep in a straight line and don't deviate. Then apply the overtape. Using a 300 wide edge, this will be cut to the width of the roll, located equally between the two sheets and heat fused. Checking for any fail points. We now bring in the second sheet. In this instance, I'm spotting the seam into the right position. Now we see the heat fusing of the adjacent sheet. And again, the overtape is now applied.